question with Fiaz, with the technology. I know that you have a. I was looking at your website and some of the services you provide, and it's great to see, as I said earlier, that their solutions do exist in Oman. And the question comes up is the connectivity, as Djordje mentioned, and I think we're going to talk to Khalid about this more as well. Is that it's great to have to make your house automated or have smart appliances or electronics. But when you start connecting them together, when you want to make it a smart building where things are controlled, where are the challenges that you face now? I know that you mentioned about old and new technology. I think Dr. Ali mentioned that is you can still do that. But how are the challenges how are they being faced? Like what are the challenges that are coming up when it comes to this these smart appliances and electronics?
Yeah, so as George mentioned earlier, I think to be able to reach the full potential of a smart home, all of the devices, they need to be connected together. Because like the whole concept of having a smart home is how can your home adapt to your lifestyle? And a few examples, even I mentioned in my slide, that let's say one button will do many things instead of opening several applications at once. I think the secret here is, first of all, let's say moving away from the DIY and moving more towards the professional, let's say, integrator. Because let's say the professional integrator, they have years of experience on how the different devices can communicate with each other. If I mention some brands like Control4 or Vantage Controls, Crestron, Savant, all of these brands, they have on the back end an R&D team, research and development team. And what they do is that they see what are the upcoming technologies in the market and how they can integrate it so that you have one central hub or gateway to control everything. So I think that's the secret here.
I think one thing you just mentioned is that the do-it-yourselfers, like we plug in electronics, we buy our smart TVs, we connect to the internet, and we don't know how vulnerable we are when we start adding our accounts to it. And one appliance could be connected, but meanwhile you put in your email address and everything, and your account is open. What Khalid was talking about is the different layers of security. We had this in a separate panel as well when we're talking about big data on a city level. We have big data, but we need the cybersecurity and smart practices like changing your password, now making it easy. Khalid, when it comes to accessing. When it comes to the infiltration of hackers into these smart, how is the technology for a do-it-yourselfer? Is it that big? I know the thing is you've already said that you provide free consultancy, but just to talk a little bit more about that, as Djordje says that there are levels of connectivity and the technology is not talking to each other. Is that a vulnerability that the consumer cannot control? Do you see that, or is it this more all consumer based that they can control by having working with you?
Yeah, exactly. Because you see, like when someone take your email away, so can you control it anymore? Unless there is a very solid support from the supplier. So we have something I think called SOQ, which is the support and the quality of support from the supplier itself, from that platform. There are so many authentications that the user might provide to the platform, to the platform company, where they can retrieve their data. Otherwise, if the platform is weak, as I said before, if they don't have the enough capability of that quality of service, then you might be vulnerable for any attack. So again and again, I'm talking about the source, about the platform. people should think and consider yani, how strength is the platform they are working with.
I think the message is clear. You know, leave it to the experts. I'm going to ask Djordje one question. When we're talking about this technology and we're going back and forth between appliances and electronics and automated systems and stuff, we're talking about the Internet of Things. We're talking about systems that should be talking to each other. Just like we have languages in the world, we have languages in the in technology. How close are we? Do you have is the technology available easily to the consumers now? If they want to turn their house in an automated system, do they have to go out and purchase a new system that, you know, a translator, if I can put in simpler these simple words? How do you get around this, you know, the automated updates and, you know, not communicating back and forth and for the layman, for the consumer today?
So Control4 is available to almost everyone who would like to try and see how Control4 is working, or they would like to have experience of the system. And that's one thing we like to say: we sell experience, not the hardware, which will be visible. Control4 is a flexible platform, and it can be installed in many scenarios. So we talk about homes today, but also businesses or restaurants or meeting rooms. Boats can also have the small piece of the Control4. We have a lot of our partners and professional trained partners who can support every single customer. Someone mentioned during these sessions brand awareness. Brand awareness is very important. If end customers know what they're looking for, they can easily find the Control4. We have professional partners and available worldwide. And if there's someone who would like to find those partners, they just need to go to control4.com website. On the top, there is find professional, and then they can search the country or even find the closest regarding their location.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Fiaz for a second. And when it comes to luxury home as a company and as a service provider, of course, you have your clientele. Have they started asking for connectivity between their home and office, their businesses? Do you see more of a trend, especially with COVID and this pandemic that we were just getting over? A lot of people working from home, so you need to have a lot of the data back and forth. So again, it opens up the vulnerability. How are the systems coping with that? How have you evolved as a company, going from residential first and now you're going to office spaces?
To be honest, at the moment, we didn't receive such requests. For example, when we look at these COVID times, the only thing people are worried about is I want to be able to monitor my home or just the monitoring part of it on what's happening, and that's the basis of home automation. If we look about integration between different buildings, I think we're in the scope of smart cities and a bit away from smart homes. Okay. But nowadays, even the smart homes, they link their device to IoT platforms. So, for example, let's say we have a smart city and residential units are part of smart city. And the smart city main gateway or hub, it should be able to monitor what's happening inside the home in terms of energy consumption, in terms of like security-wise, etc. So it starts as a smart home, but then this information is fed on the smart cities. And with systems today, this is very much possible.
Okay. And with Khalid, I'll ask you this similar question. And how prominent, how much business is coming your way or inquiries are coming your way to start converting traditional homes into home offices and workspace areas, or are they dedicating some spaces to smart offices where people can work from home as work in the office? And does that create more vulnerability?
Yeah, actually, plenty of requests. I'm going to give you an examples, few examples of customers that they want to merge the control of their homes as well as their offices. So, for example, the application we are using, as much as most of the applications, you can create 2 homes in one application, and that's the good in the automation. Like you can move from the home to the office devices and vice versa. So in one application that you are controlling several places, not only the home. Okay. As much as also for the request, we have recently a request to involve making the first smart school in the Sultanate ever, which is something promising. I mean, whether we're going to participate or not, but this is something make us happy, because the government, they are really thinking about the IoT and to harness this technology for their for the community benefits. Like imagine that that project, they think a very deep where they want to also monitor the student which they have chronic diseases, like let's say diabetes. Okay, so they want to invent some technologies that they able them to monitor the health parameters of that student. Okay, and to respond as soon as possible. Also, they have an idea to monitor like the parents to monitor their children's remotely, like by swiping a card. The parents will know that my children has entered the school really, and he is in the school. And when he go out, he will swipe for getting out. Then they know that my children is out. So you see how they are harnessing these systems for the good of everybody. So yeah, we hope that to be this dream to be true very soon.
Well, that's great. On the campus here where I am right now at the German University, we have the Eco House. We have the German University building itself that that has used sustainable technology, wind and sun direction, and aligned not by the road, but actually by the sun and the wind. And we've been able to save about 60% on just on the air conditioning. It's incredible what you can do when you do smart. We're implementing smart technology there at Finland Oman School. We have smart technology, and I think that's the trend. I think that's where that's where we're heading. We just need to work on building it together and providing the solutions. I'll just ask, Djordje, one quick question, because a point that you mentioned is the complexity and the simplicity. I think that's where people, tend to get lost, where they need to have a system or some sort of security or a platform. They think it's too complicated to understand, so they go with the easy way. Whereas if technology is shown to be much simpler and user-friendly, they're more likely to include it in their whether it be do it yourself or in their program. And again, affordability. How do you see that playing out? Is technology becoming more simple to understand and to comprehend and to accept, and is becoming more affordable, or is it still something that's a little, out of reach of the average consumer?
I would say it is getting more affordable. We see a lot of different products, and some estimation is that we are going to have over 1 billion till 2025, over 1 billion different smart products for the homes. So if you look on that way, it will get more complexity to the families. That is why we are here, who can join all the technology and all products under one platform. As I mentioned during my presentation, it is very difficult if there are different products from different manufacturers. It is very difficult for every single family member to control them or work with them. That is why it is important to reduce that complexity and make one remote, one application on the phone, or one touch screen which they can put on the wall, use or as a portable, and then control it. We as Control4 can provide different solutions. We can see end customers who would like just to have a little bit of feeling of smart home experience, and they can afford. That is something what they can afford. They start with the living room, or maybe add just one bedroom with a second audio zone. But later on, when they decide to upgrade, they can easily just add more products. Again, doesn't need to be Control4 or some of our brands. It can be third-party products, some sensors or door locks, and then they can make as a one platform and increase technology in their home, which will still stay easy to use or user-friendly. So it is very important what is the infrastructure or the platform which will be on the top of every single product in the home.
I think that's correct. I think I'll end with a point. I think that it's very important. We talked about this in the earlier session, is that infrastructure is very, very important. I think the definition of a smart city or smart technology is that it's ICT based and it's communicating with itself. I mean, you can't have components that are not communicating, but then because the data then is not complete, you can't have big data if it's not complete, it's not workable. So you have to have open data as well. You have to have accessible data. So you have to be, it should be readable by any of the technologies. We may not be there yet where we have a uniform, a language where, or a platform where everybody communicates. You know, I was writing something last night, and one thing we have to be careful, technology should be working for us. We shouldn't be working for technology. Our lives should be become easier as we use technology, not that we become in a compromised situation, we're obligated to use this technology or that technology. It should be user friendly. And I think that's part of smart city, is that things happen, things are communicating without us having to go in, as you mentioned, a small, update to this program, this thing's not working because that's not updated. I mean, these kind of things that when technology is not communicating seamlessly, then instead of being a smart city, it becomes more work for us. It does, the quality of life doesn't improve, which is the basic of, of smart city, is to improve the quality of life. It actually takes a step back because you have extra work to do, because you have extra technology that you've got to babysit. But I want to thank you all the panelists, for your knowledge, your advice, your contribution to the panel, to sharing the information that you have. I'm sure the audience has benefited from it, and I'm sure we'll have lots of questions and more follow-up. And I really hope that we can have this discussion with all of you again in the future. We can put it all together and see how we're going. But I think the future is very positive. So I want to thank you very much. Just to let you know that after this, we're going to have a break. The next session is going to start at 2 p.m. Muscat time. And we ask the speakers and the panelists to come and join. And for the audience, Muscat time, please go have your lunch and meet us back here at 2 o'clock. But again, thank you very much. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Fiaz, and thank you, Djordje, for your contribution. And Dr. Ali, I think he had to go, but really thank you very much for your time and your knowledge and sharing that with us. Okay, have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.